Friends, it's happening. Gold has been on an unstoppable run. It has gone up more than 81% in the last 5 years and almost 20% in the last 12 months. Central banks are ditching the dollar and U.S. treasuries and buying more gold. The good news? It's predicted to go up more. Some experts even say it will go up to $5,000. Noble Gold Investments phone has been ringing nonstop. Everyone wants to protect their retirement with gold, and you can do the same. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced investor, Noble Gold Investments will make sure you get all the help you need, and from day one, you work with the same dedicated all-American expert. And this month, Noble Gold Investments will give you a free quarter-ounce gold standard coin if you open a qualified account. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com.
You've heard the term Internet of Things, where inanimate objects can be connected to the internet and each other. But in 2016, academic and author Dr. Andrea Matwishin took it one step further, coining the term Internet of Bodies, or IoB. She describes it as a network of human bodies whose integrity and functionality rely, at least in part, on the internet and related technologies such as artificial intelligence.
That might sound far-fetched, but if you have one of these, you're already part of the IoB world.
There are three categories of IoB based on the device's level of integration. The first generation is external, things like smartwatches or rings, which use sensors to track our steps and heart rate, or smart glasses, which function as cameras, headphones, and monitors. The second generation is internal. These are devices you ingest or have implanted. Think of pacemakers with digital implants, smart prosthetics hardwired into patients' nerves and muscles, or even digital pills that transmit medical data after being ingested. Finally, there's the third generation. These devices completely merge with the body while maintaining a real-time connection to an external machine and the internet. One of the most notable companies in this space is Elon Musk's Neuralink, which is developing a brain-computer interface, or BCI, called the Link. The coin-sized chip is implanted under the skull, where it can read a person's brain signals and allow them to control an external machine.
I had to use like a mouse stick and stuff, but now it's all being done with my brain.
Neuralink's first test subject, who was paralyzed from the shoulders down, used the device to play chess on his laptop, although a few weeks later, Neuralink reported some malfunctioning.
Proponents of IoB devices say the benefits are clear. They'll improve body cognition and function, improve healthcare, and allow for significant cost savings for people and corporations. But where some see benefits, others see risks. Even the original article coining the term warned of the technology's flaws.
For one, data protection will be paramount. Many of these devices will be able to track, record, and store personal information. Critics argue that if governments and companies got their hands on this data, they could use it to spy on citizens or turn them into revenue streams. There are also concerns around dependency, addiction, and personal safety. Former US Vice President Dick Cheney, for example, admitted that he had his heart implant's wireless function disabled in 2007 over fears that assassins could use it to cause a fatal heart attack.
There are also ethical questions to consider. Could we see a world in which the rich are augmented and the poor aren't? And philosophically, will IoB challenge our notions of human autonomy and self-governance? Who will be responsible for monitoring the risks?
Most IoB implantable and ingestible devices are regulated by agencies such as the Food and Drug Administration in the US or its counterparts internationally. They have a set of rules for things like cochlear implants or body part replacements, but IoB consumer devices are not under their purview.
Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers, it's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Friday, June 14th, 2024. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. Welcome on YouTube, welcome on Rumble, welcome in a live chat. I see Rob is here, Cypher9 is here, Anna is here. Good to see you, my friends. Of course, my wonderful wife, Christine's in the live chat. Hey, honey. Charlotte is here. Good to see you, my friend. Annabelle, Annie, Raymond, Sharon, Wake Up Humanity, Miss Lunatics, Jenny, Stuart K. Hey, my friend. The Shaman Within, Jace Ventura, Tatiana, So many familiar faces. So good to see you all. Okay, so I want to invite you. You know, we're doing the End of Religion as We Know It series, and it's going to continue. As I said, it's kind of open-ended. We're working on the next episode. And we have talked about transhumanism, and we have talked about the the digitization and the technocratic path of AI being in charge of everything. We've talked about these things. However, we want to open a new chapter and go deeper into how these technologies actually operate. The truth is that most people are so distracted with the bullshit on the world stage and the fake stuff that what really matters, and this is what truly matters, because it is taken over in the background. The trillions of dollars that have gone into the development, virtually the entire industry, no matter what industry, is moving in the same direction. This is the greatest threat against or for the human race. I mean, for the existence or leading to the absolute extinction of who we are as humans right now. And this is not exaggerated, but when I say transhumanism today, people confuse it with transgenderism, or they don't really get an idea of what we're talking about. So we really want to open the chapter of discovering what all that means. How long have these technologies actually been around? How primitive is that which we believe it to be versus that which it really is? And how does it actually interact already with our bodies, with our biosphere, with our aura and everything? So we're going to do multiple shows on this, and we're going to go really deep. And I want to start by just explaining a few things so we can understand them better. And there's this lady, by the way, let me see. Thank you so much. What's that name? Chaos Cat 13. Sometimes I have to decipher these names. Thank you so much for your contribution, Chaos Cat. All right. So there's this lady that's been around for a while, and I've seen her clips on and off, but never really paid much attention. And I started paying attention, and holy smokes, it's blowing my mind what we're finding here, especially since some parallel findings that I've had along the way, some of them are so synchronistic. So this is Sabrina Wallace. You probably have seen her over social media, but I want to show you this clip here where she talks a little bit about what people even in the alternative space believe we know about, you know what I mean, and what it actually is. So let's look at this clip here together.
This bioweapon, if it were a biological weapon, then we would have answers as to how to turn it off, turn it down, cleanse it, right? It's a cyber bio interface. Until the electrical signal is changed, we grow things inside of bodies with synthetic biology. And by things, I'm talking about molecules. We grow bacteria that we can internet remotely pilot around inside the guts of other humans, the gut microbiome. And we teach others, other young people and old, how to do it. Log into their bioelectromagnetic algorithm with their body area network. Log in directly, decide where you're going to grow the E. coli, how fast, whatever, hit the button. I am damn tired of having to sit through the clown show of lying to people about what you're really doing while they think you're going to help them, because you're not. And I'll show you why right now. If it is a cyber bio interface, and it is, for your graphene healthcare, it's what it is. They have multiple ways to log into you and your tissue, okay? You're out there telling them it's a bioweapon. Nope. It's a biological cyber interface, and it goes along with the C40 cities and the SMART agenda. So you're full of shit. But that way, as long as they keep screaming bioweapon, nobody's looking here. Nobody is talking about the biological digital convergence going on right now. No, because they're busy looking for lawfare, a bioweapon, and for someone to get out there as a politician and do something about things that they don't understand. Courtesy of you people, keeping from them that their body is electrical, that you hooked them to the cloud.
So there's so much to unpack just in this little clip, and we're going to go through a bunch of it. But really, the most important thing is what I've said so many times over and over before is the reason why, for the most part, in any visible and elected position, the reason why you see sub-intelligent people, and they really are morons. I mean, the most elected officials are sub-intelligent. They're not very intelligent human beings, and for a purpose they're being pushed there. They don't understand, and this is on purpose. They don't understand what is happening on the technological side of things. They don't understand today what Google has been doing for 25 years. They still don't understand what Google started in the late 90s, what it actually does and why it's there. And they for sure don't understand what has been happening since and how the biotech, what it is actually doing. And so if they don't understand it, they can't push to do anything about it or regulate it or whatever they would do. So you want to have morons in elected positions, and then in unelected positions, which, these are the bureaucrats that are embedded into the system. You put fairly intelligent people there and some hyper intelligent people that are so deep in the system that are developing these things or co-developing it with the private sector. The thing is, what our main problem is, and this is why I always go 40,000 foot view first, is we're so far behind on our education on this. We need to cover, thousands and thousands of miles within a very short period of time to try to catch up with what's been going on, and that's what we have to do. No matter how big the task, we have to do it. So I encourage the hardcore researchers among you to join us for this and to dig really deep on all of it. So let's go a little bit into some of the basics of what this is and what we're looking at here. Okay, so what she talked about is the bio-cyber interface. So this is the premise that in order for you to create all this interconnectedness, you have to first create an interface. For those of you who are familiar with any kind of technology, maybe music producers, oftentimes you can't just plug your guitar into your computer. You first need an interface that connects the signals as they come in and translates them into ones and zeros so the computer can understand them. Okay, so here we're looking at a nano-cyber interface, also known as a bio-cyber interface, is a technology that integrates nanoscale devices with biological systems, allowing for communication and interaction between the two. Now, some of you or most of you are familiar with, the pacemakers, the heart tickers. This technology has been around for a while, and we sort of understand that it can emit wireless signals. So somebody somewhere on a computer can read what the pacemaker is doing or what the heart is doing. And we were sort of looking at this as, oh, okay, very helpful. But this was literally, I think the pacemaker was one of the most, and still is one of the most popular applications that is supposed to break the barrier and the resistance within humans to this kind of technology, right? Because we also, oh, it's helped grandpa, it's helped dad. And so his heart's still ticking because of the pacemaker. And so this has sort of over a few generations now, a few decades, really pushed away any concerns, right? Okay, let's look a little deeper into this. It's a crucial component, the bio-cyber interface. It's a crucial component in the development of the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. So you already see we're going to have to learn a lot of terminology around these subjects. The Internet of Bio-Nano Things, which aims to connect biological systems with the digital world. This interface enables the transmission of biological signals such as from cells or tissues to digital devices and vice versa, facilitating advanced healthcare applications among other uses. Now here we dive into Hold on, what does this mean? It enables the transmission of biological signals such as from cells or tissues to digital devices. So now for us to understand this, we have to understand that we are an electrical body, right? And that the signals that are being emitted from artificial technology emulate the signals that our cells are emitting at all times. So basically, this technology learns how to read those signals and interpret them back to a computer. And for that, it needs a connection. It needs a network within the body to do it. Now, the problem is that most people think we're talking about a future to come when we're talking about the past that has already played out, okay? This is so deep. And we're playing catch up. This is already affecting billions of people, if to a certain extent, not all of people or the majority. We simply don't know. We're in the discovery phase of this. So the Internet of Bio Nano Things, what we did is I asked Grok, that is the AI, the equivalent of ChatGPT of X, of Twitter, okay? So that's Elon Musk's Grok. And I said, how will the juice contribute to the Internet of Bio Nano Things? We all know the juice, okay? So, well, you see, the juice is like the ultimate health tracker, monitoring your body's functions at a molecular level. It's not just delivering a harmless piece of the V to trigger an immune response, it's also paving the way for the Internet of Bio Nano Things. So before we move any further, I just want you to know, this is for entertainment purposes only. We're just having fun here. None of this is real. Of course, we're in a parallel universe discussing a potential, right? Okay, let's move forward. The juice could also communicate with other devices, like a smartwatch that monitors your heart rate or a glucose monitor for diabetics. That's where the Internet of Bio Nano Things comes in. By integrating the technology used in the juice, we all know the technology by now, with the Internet of Bio Nano Things, we could potentially create a network of interconnected devices that communicates at a molecular level within the human body. Okay, so I don't want to just race through this. Let's unpack this here for a little bit. You get a medical treatment, and that medical treatment does one thing that you're aware of, or at least think you're aware of. But then that medical treatment has a completely different component to it that is sort of like the technology behind it that you know nothing about. It's kind of like when we operate these things here, these phones. I mean, we tap on the screen and we swipe, right? And we do these things, and we have an experience on the surface. But then there is a technology underneath it that does so many things that we're not aware of, and that tracks what we do. It tracks our swipes. It tracks our stroke patterns on the keypad. It takes every millisecond. It takes an infrared photo of your retina because it analyzes your retina. I mean, the iris scan. It's quite incredible what actually these things here do while we're just playing around on the screen. So the same with the juice. There is an application that pretends to do one thing medically. Then there is the technology that actually does the actual work. So what this can do is self-replicate ad infinitum. So it just continues to self-replicate. It uses the body's biochemical systems and the body's electricity to power itself to continually replicate and build a network, an artificial neural network in the body, so that it becomes a part of the entire network of Internet of Everything, the IoE, the Internet of Everything, which is basically uploading this realm, everything in this realm, uploading it into the cloud, into this dystopian hive mind, everything, every plant, every rock, every grain of sand, everything is eventually supposed to be uploaded into it, or already has been, we don't know. Now, to wrap your mind around this is difficult, and it doesn't happen just by listening to me. It requires research and thought process, and by remembering what the end goal is of these psychopaths, we have to understand that they're using all capabilities possible to achieve this. If we can tear down the barrier of, oh, they would never do that, or they couldn't do it without our consent, or blah, 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 it's all bullshit. They are doing it. And we're giving consent by adopting and playing with every new technology that comes around and not being able to resist. We're helping because we're consenting. And in those user agreements of all these technologies that people play with, you always have to check that box with the licensing and user agreement. Somewhere deeply buried, they tell you what this technology is actually doing, how it is collecting all the data, including biodata. And you go, how does it collect my biodata? Well, it does, because some of these things are already implemented without our knowledge. Okay, let's move a little further here. Again, I was asking the questions. How might the Jews help with implementing this Internet of Everything with the bodies? Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. This could revolutionize healthcare, allowing for real-time monitoring of health conditions, personalized treatment plans, and even remote control of certain bodily functions. It's like having a tiny army of nanorobots working together to keep you healthy. So this is Elon Musk's AI. It is obviously a positive voice for this. So the question is, you all remember in 2020, they started coming out with this thing because it was so dangerous. It was so dangerous to go anywhere. It was so dangerous to do anything that they said, we're going to do telemedicine. Neil said, hold on. So you're telling me that up until a month ago, I had to go into a doctor's office. I had to sit on that little table they have. I had to take off my shirt, and I had to have physical contact with the doctor. And today, I go on a Skype call and they can diagnose. How do you think that was possible? A test run. How do you think they imagined telemedicine? The insurance companies, the healthcare companies, everybody is completely excited about this technology where you are you take a pill just like anything else, and you have the nanotech in the pill, and it starts creating all these networks that then can emit signals. So basically your doctor or the insurance company or whoever hacks into it can log into your body, and they can then determine whether you're taking your medicine, what you're eating, whether you're smoking or not, or you're drinking or not, or you're doing drugs or not, or you're having an orgasm, or anything. They can measure anything and everything and know everything. They don't have to listen through these devices or use the smart meter or anything like that. You are the transmitter of all information that could possibly be needed. Okay? Let's move forward here. Intra-body nano networks. Intra-body communication is a method that utilizes the human body as a broadcast biological medium for electromagnetic signals to interconnect wireless body sensors. Again, this is not coming. This is already here. It's been here. It's being used. And as a matter of fact, on the NIH website, I found a case study about remote detection of COVID in 2021. They had apparently a field study where they already remotely detected what they called the viral load and whatnot through these intra-body nano networks that were already transmitting back the signal. Nanomachines are nano-sized nodes which are used for communication, sensing, computation, construction, biological manipulation, and payload delivery. Some of you might have seen those clips where under the microscope, they show these little biorobots on a macro level, on a nano level. So you, even if that biorobot was on the table in front of you, you couldn't see it. That's a biorobot self-assembling parts and replicating. It is mind-boggling. It is like out of this earth, right? And probably it is. Electromagnetic communication. EM waves are used for communication and transmission of information. Okay, so this is, and our fields are, they are so loaded with electromagnetic waves, and that's why so many of you feel tired and depleted oftentimes, because this is this plethora. I mean, just the onslaught of waves going back and forth. That's just not something that our bodies at this level are used to and really can work with. And then molecular communication, molecules are used for communication and transmission of information. So it is using our own biology to transmit and receive information. What is Panacea? Interesting. This is, there's very hard to find. There's a company called Panacea Inc., and they are in this field, but it's very hard to find out who or what is behind this. I would venture out to say it all goes back to DARPA, usually does, or at least one of those agencies that don't exist officially. But here we have, it's a personalized, autonomous, nano-cybernetic artificial ecosystems architecture. Well, that just rolls off the tongue, right? That's, I mean, sounds like a hit song. Personalized, autonomous, nano-cybernetic artificial ecosystems architecture. Panacea. Always when I read this, when I see these things, I go back to the Terminator movie, #1, the first Terminator movie, which was done in the early 80s. I remember, and I was thinking, holy moly. I mean, they were talking about this kind of technology. They were actually showing it in its application already. So we have to understand, we're not just 45 years behind the curve in terms of understanding this. This has been around probably for eons, and it's making a comeback into our consciousness here. So Panacea is a concept that aims to connect the human body to the Internet of Everything. It's sort of what we already talked about, using a network of nano-cybernetic artificial ecosystems. This technology is still in the early stages of development, bullshit, and it is primarily theoretical at this point. No, it's not. But I just want to show that you will find during your research various terms: Internet of Bodies, Internet of Things, Internet of Nanobio Things, Internet of Everything, Panacea, and many other terms that ultimately are either whole systems or components of these systems, and they all interact and they all connect with each other. It is so important that we flip the switch in our heads from thinking about this as science fiction, as movie stuff, as far out in the future, and realize it is a reality here and now. The idea behind Panacea is to create a network of interconnected devices and sensors that can be implanted or integrated into the human body. These devices would be capable of collecting and transmitting various types of data, such as health metrics, environmental data, and personal preferences. This data would then be used to create a personalized ecosystem that can adapt to the individual's needs and preferences. So if we spin this, and this is what you've seen in the shows and in the movies, is in the movies, you often see, oh, they're doing an iris scan or they're doing a palm print, and then the computer tells you what you should eat for breakfast, how much exercise you should get, how much water you should drink, how much or you know, stay out of the sunlight, all these things. Now, this is the entertainment safe version. If you have a computer that is connected to your body already, that is reading the neural network, the artificial neural network in your body, then it will not only tell you what you should do, it will make you do it. That's the difference. It will just make you do it. It will simply put a task into your brain, and your body will, because it's not a real free will body anymore, will simply do it. It will just comply with it, right? I'm sorry to paint this dystopian picture here, but this is what we're dealing with, my friends. Okay. One of the key components of Panacea is the use of nanocybernetic artificial ecosystems. These are self-organizing systems that can adapt and evolve in response to changes in their environment. By integrating these systems into the human body, Panacea aims to create a symbiotic relationship between the individual and the Internet of Everything. Symbiotic, mutually beneficial. Who in the world signed up for this? Do you remember any kind of discussion? Do you remember in any previous campaign, any congressman, senator, president running on this? Do you remember things like this ever being asked about in election debates? No, we're the same old racism and abortion, same old subjects that are dominating the election fake discussions. But this we're not talking about. And the thing is, and this is why I'm just quickly deviate into the storyline of politics. This is why I said it's all good and well. You vibe this way or you vibe that way. You think one's a savior, you think the other's a savior, whatever. They're not different. They're not different. Let's take the two major parties in the United States. It's actually one party, but the Republicans and the Democrats, right? Their paths into the future are both built on this technology, on full-on AI, full-on digitization of everything. Both walk the same path. What does it matter? So one pretends to be globalist in nature and says, hey, you know, no more borders, no more nothing, we're all just one big thing. The other says, let's stick an American flag in it and call it the patriotic AI, or the patriotic transhuman, or the Mr. Super America bio robot. What does it matter? It's just branding, it's just PR. The truth is everybody's walking in the same direction. There's not a single nation or a single leader in the world right now that is not on the technocratic path. However, the great discrepancy is I don't think that the majority of humans, especially in those nations that do not adopt technologies as fast because their infrastructure is not there yet, because the poverty levels are too high, especially those, the older folks, people with some wisdom left, they don't want that. Nobody asked them, they don't want that. And so we need to get really wise on this, really well educated on this. We need to become experts in this, because the people that are running the governments, the people that are running the legal system, the executive branch, the legislature, that's who's running it. That's where all the money's coming from. It's all coming from the big tech companies. And what did your favorite president, Donald Trump, what did he just announce? That isn't it amazing now Silicon Valley is backing him. Now they're giving him money. What does that mean? It's basically like saying, oh, wonderful, now I'm getting all my money from Big Pharma. Well, what does that mean? Why do you think they are giving him money? What do you think they want in return? It's always the same game, by the way. But let's not deviate too much. Let's go back to this here. Okay, so we've exhausted kind of this concept of the bio-cyber interface, of the Internet of Bodies, Internet of Nano, bio-nano things, the Internet of Everything. Wrapping our minds around this and how it communicates with the body will require that we take pieces of knowledge that we already have and connect them in the right way. This is what's been missing so far. This is where consciousness, the aura, the biofield, if you will, the morphogenetic field, whatever you want to call it, comes into play. And I actually want to play a 7-minute clip and watch it with you here, again by Sabrina Wallace. I think this one is well worth watching, and it explains a bigger picture, and we're going to go much deeper into this in upcoming shows. But let's watch this here together.
How's your phone work? Your cell phone, tell me how it works. This was the other bitchiness that I got from people over and over again. They're like, well, all you're doing is saying, how does your phone work? No, I'm trying to draw your attention to literal tech metrics. I don't know where my phone went. So that you understand how easy it is to log into you and make a change. So, how did we get to this point where all these good people in radio frequency, etc., that they don't know shit about what we're actually doing in the human body? And in order to explain all of this, I've had to make a gazillion signs. I've had to come back out here over and over again. And I've been trying to figure out why it is, there's my phone, that nobody else seems to know these things. Okay? This is my great uncle's folder from Shepherd Air Force Base. I often also show his Aberdeen Proving Grounds stuff. That's my little pink book, wherever it's hiding at the moment. And then I also go over his old notes with flux density notation with mercury and whatnot. Why? So that people understand that this has been going on for a really long time. So tell me how your phone works. When you click a button and you send an email, you don't see the email leave the phone. It's a wireless, invisible signal. Just like your body. It's a body part. So when I worked at UW Whitewater, for my job, I found IBM software that they alleged was also used way back when Fauci and them wanted to get their shit off the ground for attacking the human immune system. Well, if you don't know that the human immune system is 80% your biofield, you called it the aura, you called it stupid. Yeah, I know. That's because 6,000 years of human telemetry, chiropractic, and the rest of it for your circulatory system just magically disappeared. Nobody has any idea what's going on. That was 6,000 years of the human circulatory system. You call it chakras. Yeah, they call it aim and fire. 150 years ago, Aleister Crowley and people, yeah, nothing's real except what you can see. There is no biofield. There's no cymatics, there's no radionics, there's no plasmonics. There's nothing except what you can see. Well, that's a body part that's responsible for 80% of our immune system. How do we know for sure? The definition of Children's Hospital, the organs and tissues that comprise the immune system, the thymus, the bone marrow, the lymphatic, your vessels, your spleen, and your skin. And so I'm like, yeah, the human biofield being watched by Project Salus. So the human biofield is the aura, is your W band, 802.15.6. Department of Defense Directive 3000.09, everything is autonomous. And you have an MQ-9 Reaper drone attached to your skin and bone. Now, that's a big bird for those of you that know. She's huge. And so for me, I'm like, why in the hell do we need something that big? Well, for those of you in radio frequency, yet again, that don't understand that we're playing around with the particulate in the atmosphere and perturbating the human biofield with the Doppler. Okay? And we're not talking about any of that. We're not talking about geoengineering and weather control, and all these systems work together. When I log into your body, I'm looking at multiple manifolds, torus manifolds, and then I'm using mathematics to log into your cell structure with something called biophysics, opto-array, electronic, photonic, moving your cells around with pressure, temperature, and physics, physical biophysics change. Not, oh gee, I'm waving my magic wand. No, I'm logging into your body with radio frequency directly. This is how AI precision healthcare is offered. And I'm going to show you the bigger sign here in a minute. Step 1. Since 2005, any little nerd who could code in Zigbee and Bluetooth for light switches since 2005 is working with these biosensors, K-hop nearest neighbor routing, dynamic channel allocation, thermodynamic routing, right there. You can go look it up. Open shortest path first, body to body. How did I find it? Cybersecurity for the new digital ID and the 6G low personal area network. Machine to machine, no human can crack it or de-encrypt it or encrypt it. And it's ad hoc, vehicular ad hoc or whatever. And then the body is what sends the signal. Now, the moment that I found this mathematically by the metrics, I had a shit fit because I'm like, how in the hell are you using the human body for that? What are you doing? If you're doing that, you're using the aura. And of course, you can imagine as a natural telepath, having been electronically tortured lifelong for metrics, I'm like, what the fuck is this? You told me, not y'all, but family, professionals, people, oh, energy work is bullshit. The aura's not real. Only believe in what you can see. We're going to fix people's health. Well, I was told I had pseudotumor cerebri. Anybody got an autoimmune disorder out there? You ever wondered why they can't fix it? Okay, maybe I should get that other sign back here for a second. Where's your immune system? 80% of your immune system is in that field. Am I able to electronically log into you and change out the cellular homeostasis of your electrical cell structure? And anybody who knows anything about biology, do you shit ham sandwiches? When you go eat your lunch, after you're done eating your lunch, do you shit it out in the same format? No. And why is that? Because we're biochemical beings and we have electricity in our cells. Yeah. But if I hit you with the signal and I decouple your ass from your circadian rhythms by using the ratio, the golden ratio, to decouple, uncouple the cellular state. Now, where did I get this from? Tufts University, Dr. Michael Levin. Life extension, synthetic biology, immortality research. It's called regenerative medicine, biomedical tissue engineering, wireless tissue engineering. For that, we have to disassociate your electrical fields, plural. This is called the biofield at the National Institute of Health. In the quantum market share, it's called the quantum field. In morphogenesis, you heard me, synthetic biology, morphogenesis, it's called the morphogenetic field. And why? Because it's still all the same damn thing. Your cells at every level exchanging data in your lymphatic system, your tissues. And now they're hacking into that, changing it so that they can get transhumanism, synthetic biology, life extension. Where the fuck is everyone else?
Okay. Those of you who have seen this clip before, you know, it has a certain entertainment factor, which I think her personality makes it that much more tangible for a lot of people. But there's a bigger picture to unpack here, and this is what I think we need to understand. First off, any and all technologies that we see, artificial technologies, emulate or imitate something that we are capable of in and of ourselves. I think this is the greatest truth that needs to be shared over and over again. Everything that we see in these technologies is a cheap imitation of the real thing. This entire sphere is a cheap imitation of the real thing. What does that tell us? So I've been the recipient and the giver of energetic healing or energetic manipulation, actually. The healing, kind of the body does itself. But when you know how to consciously, positively manipulate energy, distance does not matter. I have received and done that kind of energy work, you know, in person, hands-on, or hundreds and hundreds of miles away. It doesn't matter whatsoever. Time doesn't matter because in the field, everything is connected. But you use all of your faculties. You use your imagination. You use your power of focus and intention. You use your feelings as an intensifier of that intention. And you use your visualization to direct energy, to detect blockages, direct energy in a proper direction, and help someone that in their current state can't help themselves, or their body is in such a dire situation that it blocks itself off from these processes, from the self-healing processes, so you help it. So if we understand that I can sit here and you could be hundreds of miles away and you give me a call and say, hey, listen, I'm having this pain in my lower back. I can't do anything about it. It's excruciating. Can you help me? And I go, okay, yes, I can. and I can start imagining, seeing in front of me your entire body. I can see your pain areas. I can start tuning in. I can feel where the blockages are. It might be somewhere else in your body. I can start directing energy through the meridians. I can start freeing up your chakras. I can do all of that with my intention. And you can do it too, by the way. You just might have never practiced it, but once you practice it, you can do it. Anyone can do it. And so these technologies that we're exploring here, they are imitating those abilities, and they're infinitely worse. But here's the crux of it. In order for them to roll out these technologies and use them on us and against us, they first had to make us forget about our true innate capabilities. So that was the de-education machine over generations. Make us forget that we are so much more than just this physical body, that we have incredible capabilities, that we have incredible self-healing powers, that we can direct energy, that we can do so much, right? Make us forget that. Make us depend on external substances and technologies. And then, because we're weaker, dumber, uneducated, and then you can use these artificial technologies to control human beings, which you couldn't do before. When we were more susceptible, when we were more in tune, we could detect these. If somebody had tried to attack us or control us, manipulate us, we could detect it and deflect it and diffuse it easily, right? I mean, people just 100 years ago were able to feel danger from miles and miles and miles and miles away. They could hear things that humans can't hear anymore. They could smell other human beings from miles away. I mean, all of that we had in us. They could feel frequency and vibration that we can't feel any longer. Because why? We haven't used these capabilities. And when we don't use it, the brain starts basically not developing these talents and skills any longer. And the very biology and the very parts of our brains that are responsible and that can help us do these things start shutting down, because when something is not used, then the body eventually gives a signal. Oh, we don't need this any longer. Okay, we're just going to put this in the background, and it's not going to work any longer. So this was the prerequisite for this technocratic age that is being ushered in. So we have to walk and chew gum at the same time. We have to learn as much as we can about who we really are, what we're capable of, and practice this, right? Of course, you can pop a pill every time that something's wrong. You can take some Advil or whatever if you have a headache. Or you can start looking at your body as this amazing thing. And you have you also, for example, just the other night, okay, I'll tell you, this is a personal story. Just the other night, Christine couldn't pressurize her right ear. Never happened before. So she was laying in bed. She couldn't fall asleep. She says, I just can't pressurize my ear. I have this, and it's a pressure in the ear, and it's irritating and it hurts. And so she couldn't. And, she got up, she yawned, she did all the tricks, and nothing would help. So I was thinking of the acupressure points of the body. And I looked up specifically the right ear, and I found the acupressure point, which is on the right hand middle finger on the side, special point. I massaged her acupressure point on that finger for a little bit. The ear popped. It was all good within a minute or two. So there are all these incredible solutions that we have. There's all this incredible knowledge. There's tapping. There's so much. And if we don't learn all of that again, use all of that again, it's not only that we will be overrun and will be completely taken over by this technology, but we will eventually give into it because we won't know what else we could do. And this technology will seem so miraculous. Oh my goodness. It used to take years to heal from a sickness. Oh my goodness. If you were paralyzed, it used to mean that you could never walk again. All of this technology and biotechnology will promise and is promising is a thing of the past. it comes at the highest price possible. All we have to do is give up our humanity, and that's basically what they're already saying. They're basically already saying, listen, all you have to do is give up your humanity, and that you do by accepting this into your body, by accepting this into your brain, by using it. And so we have to learn really about who we are, what we're capable of, and what these technologies, the artificial technologies, are doing, how they're doing it, what is causing it, and how we're being deceived to accept it. So we're going to dive very deep in the next days and weeks and months into this. I've promised myself about 3 years ago that transhumanism as the overarching subject is going to be a focal point of our work at Inspired, and on and off we're doing it. We just have to find the language and the way that it becomes accessible to more people, because right now you have a few hardcore researchers like yourselves. You have a few people that really dive into it, that get it, that understand it or begin to understand it. And then you have the vast majority of people who has no clue that it's even there. No clue that everything that the tech world does is aimed at this. That the reason why they're keeping these things around is as pacifiers, so you hold something in your hand. We could have long gone into having all this technology in our bodies, but they know that people won't simply accept this and will be frightened of it. So they have to create the conditions. They have to create the emergencies. They have to create the dangers. They have to create all these false flags so people accept it and people take it, and they will create a situation where they will tell us that the only solution to survive this situation will be to accept this technology fully into our bodies, and then we will never have to deal with these problems ever again. This is the situation that they want to create. And it could be next week, it could be next year, I don't know when, but this is the next huge, big false flag situation. The legal framework was set, and this is how we have to connect the dots. WHO, World Health Assembly, the upcoming, this wasn't signed officially yet, the new pandemic treaty, but it will be, they will do that. And the amendments to the international health regulations, they paved the way for all of this. So that's the legal framework that will make all of this regulated and legal in their eyes. And by us accepting it and bending over, we're saying yes to this. But we don't know what we're saying no to, so that's why we have to become knowledgeable. And this is so important. It's pretty much every time that I talk to someone like Greg Braden, his mind really, really revolves around these subjects a lot. And it is literally, he says the same thing. We don't know what we're saying yes to because we don't understand his technology properly. And we also don't understand what we're saying no to by pretending that we're these incapable, primitive products of happenstance, of coincidence, right? Of Darwinian evolutionary theory. We have to get the truth out to as many people as possible. So in whichever way you can contribute, please share this, of course, invite people in, and also bring people in that they're willing to say, hey, this guy, this cowboy here talking about spirituality and nanotechnology and simulation, he's an idiot, let me debunk it. Sure, go and debunk it. Go and please go and try to tell us that what we're discovering is not true, that these technologies are not being deployed, that that's not where billions and trillions of dollars are going, and that that's not what they want to bring about tomorrow. We actually welcome this kind of adversity and criticism, because that's in these kinds of discussions, we can usually gain more unity. Because what I have found is whenever I have solid information on something, when I know this is very solid information, and I go into a controversial conversation with someone who is very intelligent but misled, that when the penny drops, they become the greatest advocate. They become a helper. So the professors, the doctors, the scientists that talk against what we're talking about, if we can find the right words, they often become the greatest helpers in spreading the message, because when it shifts for them, my goodness, they're they're all on board and they want to tell everybody about it. So in the last few days, I've thought a lot about how to bridge the gap, how to bridge the great divide, how do we reconcile, how do we have communication with people that are seemingly on the other side of the aisle, or whatever you want to call it. And that's part of this thought process. How do we bring more people into the conversation? We don't do it by just talking in echo chambers. We don't do it by simply looking for people that already think like us, right? We do it by looking for conversations, even putting ourselves in the field of the adversary, if you will, and maybe find some common ground there. That's at least the conclusion I'm coming to these days. All right, my friends. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us for this in my perception, extremely important show. And we're going to do more on this. We're going to kind of break down the different variables and particles of this technology field, how it functions, how it's been interacting, and hopefully we're going to bring on some very interesting guests that are going to educate us even more on this. So thank you all. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing in emails and comments your findings, your links. We really appreciate it. Please keep sharing, and please also share this video with others. Much love and many blessings. We'll be back with you again very, very soon.